Hi guys, welcome to the Blank Drawings podcast with me, Vash. I just want to first of all apologize to everyone. The past couple of weeks, life has been lifing, and so as a result, I haven't been able to record as many episodes as I would like. And so for that, like I said, I profoundly apologize. One of my subscribers actually sent me a message on WhatsApp, and they were not happy, to say the least. So moving forward, I'm just going to be pre-recording and just making sure that they are definitely available more often than not. And yeah, guys, definitely looking forward to getting into this one with you. So this was prefaced by a small article slash think piece that I wrote on my LinkedIn about the impacts that design has faced or has felt from the rise of artificial intelligence or AI generated art. And what I can say is that artificial intelligence is not necessarily, at least not in this current iteration, the terminator of the graphic designer. It's not Skynet. I can understand, and I will not even attempt to make light of the plight of people that have had their lives changed in a negative way by the rise of AI. I do definitely understand that there are people that have had not only unforeseen but unfortunate circumstances arise as a result of the use of AI or the increased use of AI in their respective industries. So for this particular episode, I'm just going to be talking specifically about the impacts of AI on graphic design. One of the things that I was just reading through when it comes to AI is part of what AI tends to do is it continues to learn. It's a learning entity, and it continues to astound us really with what it's capable of. But the one thing that I've noticed is that as creators, we are very afraid of what potential impacts that it may have. Primarily because we feel as if maybe it will be able to replace us. Perhaps it will be a situation whereby you don't necessarily need to talk to a graphic designer anymore. You don't need to speak to a photographer anymore, because you can just get it done by AI. You can get your logo done by AI. Whilst that is a feasible fear in some ways and in some senses, we also have to understand the fact that AI is not necessarily meant to replace us so much as assist us. There's an incredible artist who goes by the name of David Zenyama. He is an incredible artist. He makes some really amazing surrealist type art. I'd encourage you to look him up. And he's now using AI in his work. You know, obviously the process is not the same. It's now a matter of adding prompts to AI, and he creates his art style with that. But you see just how quickly he has managed to leverage AI to his advantage, and I feel like that is the long-term success route to take when it comes to AI. AI ideally should help us to increase efficiency and productivity. It's something that should add onto our lives instead of removing something from it. We as designers always complain as to why we don't have a life, so to speak. Why we spend so much time in front of the computer. It becomes home. It becomes safe. It becomes the place that you spend the most time. But what if you had a situation whereby you could delegate some of these things to an AI companion? What if, for example, you could take the time from writing as much copy, and maybe you have an AI assistant help you when it comes to that? Of course, that will, for some people like copywriters and things like that, that will come across as if AI is trying to replace them. But there is something about AI that I've noticed, and it's the fact that AI cannot and will never have the nuance of the human touch or the human creativity. Because, contrary to popular belief, life is not black and white. It's got many colors, it's got many shades, it's got many tints, it's got many different corners, crevices, and so many different dimensions to it that black and white logic just quite simply cannot get to or cannot access. So, this is one of the reasons why I feel as if when it comes to things like artificial intelligence, we really should be leveraging it more to our side, in the sense that we really need to just use it to help develop our lives in such a way that we are able to spend more time with our family, in such a way that we are able to create unique unique creations, unique images, but also at the same time, we're not trying to replace the photographer. We're not trying to replace the copywriter, because the human touch is something that you cannot replicate. In as much as we may try, or in as much as they may try, you cannot replicate the human touch. You cannot replicate human empathy in a machine. You cannot replicate human intellect in a machine. And you certainly cannot replicate creativity in a machine. In as much as you can aid it using a machine, but you definitely, in my opinion, can most certainly not add to it. Not add to it, but you most definitely, certainly cannot replicate it, at least to the 100th percentile, in my opinion. Because some people have been saying that, I've been seeing this on the internet, be it on X, Twitter, I don't know what we're calling it anymore. People have been saying that, no, we should stop the advent of AI and we should rebel or something like that. But here is my question. For the people that say that we should rebel, do we really think that our rebellion against AI, so to speak, or our hatred towards AI is going to make it go away? It's here now, it's out there. There's so many people that are using it now. We might as well not only accept it, we might as well just run with it. We might as well just leverage it to our advantage, because it can be to our advantage. I'll give you an example of real world uses that I have for AI. On that think piece that I mentioned, I wrote the skeleton of what I wanted, but I had some AI assistance in the form of Writer. That's RYTR, and it helped me to make an article that was more substantial, that basically and literally had more substance attached to it. And I can say that it was a pleasurable experience. It was pretty good. I'm not really one for writing using AI all the time. But then there are, occasions where you just be like, okay, let me try this out. And I did try this out, and it worked out quite well. There are some, like I said, there are some nuances, especially when it comes to copywriting, that I feel that a human touch can never be replicated. But by the same token, it was easier for me to push that article out without having to speak to my copywriting friends. And that's not to say that I'll ever replace them or that I now underappreciate what they do. It's quite simply the fact that there are going to be times when I use them, and there are going to be times not use them, that sounds so wrong, when I work with them, and there are times when I'm not going to work with them. Just depends on the project. For something that is my own personal use, I can use AI. But for something that is a paid project for a client, I will most definitely go to a copywriter. And you know what? Maybe that copywriter is going to use AI. But the fact that they have that skill and they're designated as a copywriter, I have far much more confidence in a copywriter using AI than I do a graphic designer using AI to copyright. That was quite a mouthful. Anyway, moving on. So the other sort of real world use is, for example, on sites like Midjourney, or platforms like Midjourney, platforms like Night Cafe, you get to create some very unique images. Of course, AI still struggles with hands for some reason, but you can create some really unique images. Now, that's not to say that you can't take stock photography or get custom images with your photographer. Far from it, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you need to create some kind of surrealist image, or perhaps you need to create some kind of image that you feel is difficult for you to get online, AI is not bad. It's not terrible. Yet again, I want to say this with the utmost respect to people who have had the impact of AI in a negative light, and to say that we can harness this as a resource for good in our own lives as designers and creators, far from just being the Skynet of our lives. Like, I actually made an artwork that was linked to that, in the sense that there was a Terminator skull next to the pyramids. The idea was that was the cover for the article. I'll link the article in the description below. It was essentially just talking about how designers come a long way from the pyramids, hieroglyphs, from all the alphabets and the lettering that we have seen all across Africa, all across the world. We've come a long way, from the Renaissance to postmodernism to Bauhaus movement. There's been so much. And yet, for some reason, Helvetica is still the best font ever. But anyway, moving on. My point is, we've come a long way through all these developments, through all these things that have threatened to potentially remove design from the world. And yet we still stand. I'll give you an example that is completely unrelated. Cars. Because I've mentioned before in previous episodes that I'm definitely a car guy. Cars are heavily machined these days. Heavily machined. But you'd be hard pressed to find a single factory in the world. This is not verified by anybody. This is just me, based on my knowledge. And my knowledge when it comes to these things is relatively limited, but it is my knowledge nonetheless. One of those situations where a factory is completely robot operated with no human interaction whatsoever, without a human touch, you know, that is not necessarily because perhaps the machines can't do it, but there are some complex undertakings that need the human touch. The machines can do it, but the human touch is better. There are some cars that are completely handmade, and those are some of the most sought after cars in the world. I'll point to you to Alfa Romeo. I'll point to you to cars like remade Lancias. From what I'm saying, I'm sure you can understand that I watched a lot of Top Gear and the Grand Tour, so this is not a plug in any way, shape, or form, by the way. But the demand for handmade, the demand for the human touch, the demand for the human creativity and the human mind will always be there. In as much as artificial intelligence is definitely there and is definitely something that we have to contend with, we need to be able to harness its power. It's not here to replace us or supplant us, much to the dismay of the the people that would love for Terminator to become a reality. But I feel like it can enhance our productivity and our efficiency and how we learn as well, because we just need to look at what ChatGPT provides to the world for us to be able to know just how much it can help us. I'm not saying that there are no negatives. There are negatives. As with many things, there will always be positives and negatives. But we have to look at the positives, because honestly speaking, if we were to look at the negatives, we would never create anything again, because we start to think that, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna be replaced by the robots anyway, so why am I even bothering? That's not the way to do it. That's not the way to approach it. The way to approach it, in my opinion, is this is a tool I can leverage and I can use. It's kind of like an axe. If you try and push a tree down, maybe it'll come down after some time, but if you have the right tool, if you have an axe, it'll come down sooner. Better yet, if you have a chainsaw. So let's look at AI more as the tool, instead of just an impediment in our way, or a barricade from what we're supposed to actually be or become. So that has been the episode for this week and the last 2 weeks. Yet again, I apologize, guys. I'm sure I will be getting some more angry texts if I do not continue to deliver as I have been promising and as I've been doing. And so thank you very much for listening. I'll be on the lookout for any of your comments, subscriptions, likes. It goes a long way. Thank you very much for that, and thank you for listening. Take care, guys. Until next time.